What's going on, guys? Rob here with the Bodybuilding Anchor. In today's video, we're going to take a step back from the open bodybuilding and jump into some classic physique for the upcoming Arnold. So sit back, relax, smash that like button, and let's get into it. So looking at this year's lineup, the only two returning competitors are none other than Ramadino and Urs Kalecinski. And as we know, they were the number 2 and 3 of last year, with Ramadino taking number 2 and Urs taking number 3. So with Terrence Ruffin not competing this year, you know they're both going to be gunning to that number 1 spot, because the prize money for number 1 is actually more than the Olympia this year, the $60,000, compared to the $50,000 at the O. So we'll start off with Ramadino, and I know I talk about conditioning a lot, and this is exactly what you need to look like when you're 3 weeks out from a show. He is so dialed in, it's not even funny. And not only is his conditioning looking extremely well, he's looking super full right here. You can tell that the striations and separations in his glutes is just right there. And his upper back is just looking nasty right now. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. And structurally, Ramon has great size. It's actually quite comparable to Chris Bumstead in my opinion. So looking at this comparison video right here of Chris and Ramon posing down the Olympia, you can tell that obviously Chris has the upper hand, but Ramon is holding his own. Some might even go as far as to say is that Ramon has the more aesthetic physique. He has longer arms, better bicep insertions, what looks to be a smaller waist, and if you could just bring up some size in the legs, lats, and upper body, you would definitely have a better X-frame and be more competitive with Chris Bumstead. Two of the most notable areas that Ramon needs to bring up are his back and his chest. And looking at these updates, it looks like his back has improved a bit. I think there's definitely some more mass there, especially with the lower lats. But as for the chest, I don't think the chest has really improved at all. I think it's relatively the same as Zio. And really, we can't expect him to make improvements to all of his lacking areas. I mean, you can get away with a lacking chest, but you cannot get away with a lacking back. So I think him bringing his back up is going to be very beneficial for this year's Arnold. And in my opinion, is the favorite for this show, obviously. And now on to Ramon's biggest competition, Urs Kalecinski. And leading up to the show, Urs has not really posted much updates on social media, which is kind of strange since he's so active on that platform. But with the little updates he has posted to Instagram, in classic Urs fashion, it looks like he's been holding, essentially, his Olympia conditioning throughout this whole prep. He posted this little teaser yesterday on Instagram showing off his chest, and my god, his chest is absolutely peeled. Look at those striations in his chest. That is insane. And we are still 3 weeks out, so he still has 3 weeks of dieting left to go. And looking back through January, with the small amount of updates that Urs did post, I mean, to me, it looks like he pretty much held his Olympia conditioning right from the show up until now. And really, do we think that's a good idea? So looking at these comparison photos of Urs and Ramon from the Olympia, as you can tell, Urs has extremely good shape, but the one thing he is lacking is size. I think Urs' legs are overdeveloped in comparison to his upper body, most notably his arms and back. But Urs is definitely the king of conditioning, and I think he has a very similar structure to Chris Bumstead. Right here, he reminds me of almost like a 2019 Chris Bumstead when he won the Olympia. So he has a very promising future in this sport, and we all know that he has a work ethic. But the big question here is, can he beat Ramon in this year's 2023 Arnold Classic? And my answer is no, he cannot. For one, Urs does not have the size, and by looking at him that he has held his Olympia conditioning throughout this whole prep essentially, I don't think he's made really any improvements because it's very hard to make improvements when you hold that type of conditioning. I really think that Urs should have skipped this show and taken a proper offseason because obviously by looking at his Olympia pics, he needs more size. And to get more size, you need to be in a calorie surplus for a prolonged period of time. But that does not seem to be Urs' style. He just likes to hold this really tight conditioning pretty much year round. And I think that's actually really limiting the amount of growth he can get in each year. But Urs is really young. He's only 24 years old, so he has plenty of time to improve. Right now, he's just kind of working through the kinks of what works for bodybuilding and what doesn't. And I'm not even sure who's coaching him right now, but I'm sure they're going to steer him in the right way. And they have some sort of game plan for this year if he doesn't win the show and how they're going to approach their offseason and what other shows they're going to compete in. I am a big fanboy of Urs, though. He seems like a very funny guy, very charismatic, and just really loves what he's doing. And also, Urs seems to train in like these dungeon type of gyms. It looks like he's training in somebody's basement. Maybe he's working out in his home basement gym. I'm not even sure, but it takes some serious motivation to train and get some great workouts in these spaces. Because a lot of the professionals, they train in like these high-class gyms like over in Dubai, LA, Las Vegas, but nope, not Urs. He's just training in this dungeon gym with 30-year-old equipment, and that just makes him very unique. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. It would help with the algorithm, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.